Hi, I'm so happy to be with you today with a very special message on exactly how nations can win the war on sustainable food security. I want to thank FAO for giving young people the incredible chance to lead the World Food Forum and set the agenda for the biggest food event in the world, ensuring that the voice of youth is included in every roundtable, panel, and conversation. That's true and radical engagement. I want to thank our dear Italian Minister of Youth Policies, Fabiana, and I want to take the liberty to thank the Minister of Environment, His Excellency Roberto Cingolani, for hosting the Youth for Climate pre-COP 26 in Milan, which demonstrated how Italy is believing in the power and investing in the era of youth. And this belief from leaders is fundamental, because creating sustainable food security is a tough nut to crack. While we want things to be a piece of cake, the complex nature of our food systems can be overwhelming. It's hard to take on such a big topic when we have so much going on in our daily lives. Yes, we know food security and climate change are important, but frankly, we have bigger fish to fry in our immediate lives, let's be honest. And with the imminent threat to our local and regional food and water through climate change, we cannot afford to take these issues with a grain of salt. When it comes to reforming our food system status quo today, it appears we've bitten off more than we can chew. To mend our damaged relationship with food, there are critical questions that we need to answer. How do we produce sufficient food that's healthy for both people who produce it and the people who eat it? How do we ensure our food systems are fair, resilient, and equitable? How do we feed our growing global population and protect our planet for generations to come? And who do we engage for new answers to old problems? How do leaders get people to care? Tackling all of this needs youth, and it needs youth engaged to share their ongoing ideas and empowered with the knowledge and awareness to understand their role and take action. Youth must be co-authors in our future food security, but I'm not here to tell you why youth leadership is important. I would be preaching to the choir. I want to talk about what leaders in the food system and youth field need to do. Our Minister of Food Security and Environment and Climate Change and our team have created lasting impact in the UAE, where extreme water scarcity and high temperatures result in imports for almost 90% of our food. The pandemic and climate change are making our import model unsustainable, and we're not unique as a nation in this. Today's food systems in many nations globally are no longer fit for purpose. And to embrace this challenge, the United Arab Emirates put youth in the center of the national dialogue on food security and empowers young people to take leading roles. This is the importance of modeling truly inclusive leadership where it matters the most. And leaders in food policy and in youth leadership at large need to do two things to win the game in food security. Empower youth with listening to youth, empower all youth by raising education and awareness. What this will do is very important. You might say, why, Shamma? First, listening to youth is so powerful because you begin to understand them. You can understand their position. Knowing their position points to root causes that yield real solutions. Two, you can close your eyes when you can close your eyelids, but there's no corresponding function to closing our ears. Our ears are meant to stay open to understand, engage, and connect with one another. So our listening will help us understand the nuance in gender dynamics and equity when it comes to food systems. Second, the ears of youth matter equally. The future food system impacts and depends upon its future producers and consumers, who are youth. Most young people, like most adults, don't exactly know much about our food systems. Savvy, broad-reaching efforts to educate and bring awareness to youth is critical to creating and equipping our future farmers, our future agri-techs, future consumers and influencers in the way that they understand this problem. Think about this. Who will equip them with the knowledge that will influence their habits, their behaviors, and actions that can impact our world and our planet? Advertisers with products to sell? Who will take the lead to understand and educate the 4.4 billion youth in this world? And by the way, do you want people to care about food systems or climate change? You need to skip the jargon. The certain thing that is ineffective is speaking to people in a language that they don't understand. We need to speak in plain terms to young people. Let us remove the fluff and business speak. We need to get to the point and pass real knowledge onto them. This is the number one job of our nation's leaders and all of us. If young people listen well, and if leaders listen well, speak now in a language that really connects with youth, and then we will able as youth to design future systems that work. And I don't think many understand, many young people, I really believe many of them don't understand why a food system transformation is critical. But it's not because they don't care. It's because they don't know. They need to know, soup to nuts, the issues of food security and how it impacts policy, governance, and community. It is our jobs as leaders to inform them and then engage. And it's our job to help them now. Know this. How does our modern food system work? What's not working about it? From baseline knowledge, what can we do? How do we reinvest in agriculture? How do we transform our food environment? I believe that every youth can be a leader in food policy and governance if they're aware, if they're connected, and if they're engaged. This raises the fundamental question of what can be achieved if we really listen to youth, if we really raise awareness or empower them with the information that creates a secure food future. These youth will be capable, I guarantee you, of building back a better post-COVID system. They will be the ones to deliver amazing wins for people, the planet, and our collective prosperity. So listen, engage, talk, and connect to youth. This mandate to engage our youth is not nice food for thought. It's the low-hanging fruit for clear success. Every leader, every nation has the opportunity with strategic engagement, with a winning component to our strategy. Anything less in food security, anything less in food security plans, anything less in food security actions is going to be half-baked. I hope all of us join in listening to youth and educating them. Thank you very much. Thank you for this powerful question, because it warrants a simple, clear, direct answer. Youth must have a seat at the table in food governance bodies and their decision makings, and not just a token or a one-time vote. A seat at every table, on every level. A structured, systemic youth voice in governance is essential for integrating and normalizing the very voices and ideas that are critical to our food security and success. The youth-led World Food Forum, the one that we had in July, is a fantastic example of youth leadership and youth empowerment. And the next level of this is having leaders take action on what you think, feel, say, want, and need. International food governance organizations such as FAO need to make sure they have a sustainable systemic method of including the voice of youth through several means. And let me share 6. Creating a youth council within these organizations where the youngest employees are given a chance to create meaningful change, to get their voices heard at the highest level of the organization, to participate in delegations with leadership. That's 1. 2, engaging youth outside the organization by hosting dialogues, consultations with them in focus groups, or as the UAE's youth model engagement, youth circles on any decisions. 2, conducting youth debates, which is a cool way to get to the point of the view of youth on policies, on anything else that such government bodies want to launch. 4, an example from the UAE, we went a step further. We've included a youth person, a young person, in every board of directors in every federal organization. Their voice has equal weight as that of other board members, and considering these priorities. 5, we made a policy that mandates every federal ministry or organization to have a youth representative in their official delegations abroad. That's youth empowerment and that's youth inclusion. Another example of going further based on the UAE is we have our Ministry of Food Security, and what we did with our board and them is they've conducted multiple engagements and education platforms for young people on the importance of food and water security. Our agricultural entrepreneurship forums, our global food tech challenges, our awareness on the value of food systems and where it comes from, and promoting of careers in food science and agri-technology. The 6th, FAO is an excellent example of this, where young people are active participants in the dialogue and in the creation of the event, in the creation of the agenda of the event, in coming up with solutions for the world's most pressing challenges. More organizations need to follow suit. My last point is, how will the UAE support this? The UAE continues to pledge that it will empower youth through action with respect to food systems, whether it's through our youth councils, our youth initiatives, or our ministers of food security, or our ministers of environment and climate change. We also have a youth empowerment index and a policy. And this youth empowerment index in federal entities in our country is a must. It came out of cabinet saying that they need to quantify, measure, assess our youth empowerment level at each entity, and it needs to be a practice. We're open to any and all of you who want to learn about our tools, about our programs and practices. We are here. Where you succeed, our world is going to succeed, especially in something as serious and far-reaching as food and water security. Thank you very much. I'd love to hear others' take on this question and from where you stand.